Bizarre Brain Comics.
Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time we're going to have a little look in the pages here of E-Man number 4 from First Comics. Before we get into that, I want to give a little shout out to a couple of other YouTube channels that I like. One is Donald Simpson channel. That's Don Simpson, the comic artist. He has his own channel, and which he talks about his comic art and stuff like that. And the other one is Roy Reads Anything. That is a booktube channel on YouTube, and he talks primarily about books, prose, various prose books that he reads and has read. But he also covers some comic book stuff. So I want to recommend both of those to you. Now, about E-Man number 4. What I'm wanting to talk about is not E-Man, but the backup feature of Michael Mauser. Yeah, we're going to take a look in that story. But we'll talk a little bit about this E-Man and stuff. Now, last year I did an E-Man episode. That was when from featuring this issue of E-Man. This was issue number 3, 1974, from Charlton Comics. And in that issue, the character of Michael Mauser was first introduced, and he became a recurring character, a secondary character in the stories. And well, we'll talk a little bit about Mike Mauser. Okay, this is E-Man number 4 from First Comics, 1983. And it's the backup feature of Michael Mauser PI. And both characters were created by Nicola Cuddy and Joe Stanton for Charlton Comics in 1983. Correction, and 1973. And this story, Michael Mauser story, was written by Mike W. Barr. So should be a familiar name to longtime comic readers. And drawn by Rick Burkett. It's either Burkett or Burchett. I would go with Burkett. And I don't normally mention the letterers, who should have mentioned, but this was lettered by John Workman, who is a fine artist in his own right, and has later on done a lot of stuff, and is known as a good girl artist, and has done published books just filled with his good girl art. I have one or two of those. Okay, and Michael Mauser is a secondary character, and then he eventually got his solo backup feature, and that was just in with the First Comics. And Michael Mauser is a parody of the hard-boiled detective genre, with such characters as Mike Hammer, etc. First Comics got the rights to E-Man and Company in 1982, along with Joe Stanton. They got the rights to publish it, and Joe Stanton got the rights to the characters, as I understand it. Then they started the series, and this series was even more satirical than the Charlton version. Charlton Comics E-Man was very satirical and all tongue-in-cheek. I just want to say one thing about the Joe Stanton art here. you can compare it here. In 10 years' time, there's been even though it's still even quite recognizable as Joe Stanton's work, you can see some modification there, growth in his work. I actually prefer his E-Man from this older period, at least the way he drew it, as opposed to the more angular version as presented here. And that's just all I want to say about the E-Man and Joe Stanton's art in that. But Michael Mauser became a popular character. And in 1985, the series was restarted at an issue number 1 from First. And it was titled E-Man and Michael Mauser. So Mauser got second billing, but he was on the title. Even more than Novocaine, who is the primary love interest and for at least a time was also a superhero in her own right. So let's go take a little look inside. Okay, here's that cover. It says, "Oh, look out! This comic book is about to explode." And that's true enough. And here with the First comics, it may have even been in the Charlton comics. I don't remember. At some point, they have a narrator for the E-Man stories, which is the ghost of Albert Einstein. And he's talking about and he tells us the E-Man story. E-Man's on a stakeout with Mike Mauser, and kaboom! There's an explosion. E-Man goes to check it out, and all the humor and parody aspects of it see in these comic covers, because this was a comic book warehouse that blew up. And even includes this very issue of E-Man as one of them. Okay, kablooey, he goes and saves the people who were working there. And it turns out that there's somebody has got an evil employed an evil scientist, created this weapon, this device that causes paper to explode like a bomb. And that's it. And he was trying to get rid of all these comics to make his own comic book collection much more valuable, and all kinds of sight gags. And of course, Mike Mauser was hired. His agency was hired to get to the bottom of it. And they do get to the bottom of it, and the villain, E-Man, has to rush to save the world because all the world's paper is going to explode except for his own. The villain winds up sealing himself in his own warehouse, where he has facilities and stuff for himself with his comic collection. But unfortunately, his device had side effects, and it made all his own comics go poof into dust. Now, this is how we're going to get into this short backup feature of Michael Mauser, Private Eye. Mauser's in Hawaii, and you hear this voice, "Mr. Mauser, Mr. Mauser," says, "Sorry, sister, no autographs." And they have the title, Mauser, Private Eye. Then we see it's not a lady, it's Tom Selleck, or in this case, Tom Swellhack. Yes, this is a parody of Magnum PI, and this was done, remember, in the early 80s, at a time when Magnum PI was very popular. The first Magnum PI was popular on television, and Rick Burkett did a wonderful job at doing the resemblances to the actors involved. And turns out, I think someone's trying to kill the actor Magnum, or in this case Mauser PI, because the show is supposedly based on, very loosely based on, the exploits of Mike Mauser PI. And then we see someone with a stiletto while they're talking at this Hawaiian bar, and Mauser spots it, throws his his drink, and knocks the knife from the hand of whomever it was. And then he gets the story. Yeah, this is all about, not here just to tour the set, but we need you to help because there have been other incidents, like a prop gun having been filled with live rounds, and a car tampered with and going off the road and nearly killing the star. And he's on the set, and he's meeting the people, talking with them. Here is their version of John Hillerman. It's John Hillerham, and he is doing a lot of sniffing, just as I am at the moment, because my nose is kind of running, and seems to be really, which is a thing kind of snooty people do, sniff up their nose and stuff, and that's what Mike thinks it is. He has conflicts with a director, has certain conflicts with his wife, who they're about to get divorced, and he's trying to figure out who if any of these people are, and why, are trying to get rid of Tom Swellhack. And he's about to shoot a scene where he's going to run the car is supposed to run into this pile of pineapples. Should be safe enough. And then Tom says, well, I'm not going to get in that car, it just stinks to high heaven. Then there's a certain smell. Mike Mauser notices it, and he realizes something is amiss. Knocks Tom down, and the whole car goes kablooey! And it turns out he looks around and he finds just a small piece, and it's exactly what he was after. Says, okay, what the thing is, now I know some of you people here, you're the ones who are trying to kill him. Someone in this proves it. This is a type of plastic explosive, but is known for being very powerful and very smelly. And is it? No, because it even the star noticed it. Said, was it? Who did it and why? And then he says, it's John Hillerham, the co-star, who is very snooty and hates being on this show, but he's contracted because he's got a sinus condition. That's why he's always sniffing, and he can't smell anything. So he didn't know the plastic explosive was very smelly, which was a warning. But these pineapples are more than just a pineapple. He pulls out a pineapple, what is commonly called a pineapple, a hand grenade. He's about to throw the hand grenade. Mike Mauser quickly whips out his gun, which happens to be a Mauser, appropriately enough, and kablooey! The bad actor gets blown up because he shoots the grenade out of his hand, and so he saved the show, saved the star, saved the marriage, and he walks off by himself. And this is funny, all tongue in cheek. I have a lot of little gags in here, and as I said, this is very this time it was more satirical, even to the point of here on the end. Teddy Q. Teddy Q is a character that is in an intelligent koala bear. There's a character in the book, and here it is, just one page, and the whole thing is a parody of the Twinkies advertisements in comic books. And it's called what is it? Hustle's Fuzzy Balls. And that's is the parody of that. Now this is all good fun. I really liked all the E-Man. I like Mike Mauser. That's why, and I just loved this particular story. That's why I had to do it for you. So, but before we finish that, you see some of my character cards here that I have drawn, and any of those, if you like these or any of these that you have seen on my channel, you can have them for $15 each, plus $3 shipping, or I can do a private commission specifically for you for just $18 plus $3. And just contact me here at my email address. And that is all for this time of E-Man and Michael Mauser. And thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Do you like E-Man? Do you like Mike Mauser? Do you like the hard-boiled detective stories? Yeah, I do. And all that, let me know in the comments below. And remember, people, comics are art.